Hello, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening to each and everyone who is joining us for the training today. Well, the person who is speaking to you right now, my name is Arina, nothing but I'm joining in all the way from Uganda, Kampala. And I want to take this opportunity to welcome you all from wherever you're joining in from. We are so glad to have you with us today. As you all know, it's a products training today. But before we even go into products training, allow me to send prayers to people who, those of us who are in Uganda, you may know what I'm talking about. I send prayers to people who were hurt in the boom blast that happened today in our city, Kampala. May God strengthen each and every one. Well, back to products training. You're all very welcome from wherever you're joining in from. The fact that we have people from different places, the fact that the Visionaries is an international team. I believe we have people from UAE, Zambia, Malawi, South Africa, Kenya, Congo, Burundi, wherever you're coming from or wherever you're joining in from, you're very, very welcome. And without wasting time, ladies and gentlemen, I believe you also the topic or the theme that is going to be trained to us today by our doctor is a gentleman who has always taken us through trainings. And those of you who attend these presentations, I believe you've always, attended his rather trainings. And to people who are joining in for the very first time, you're all very welcome. Please just stay settled and enjoy every bit of the training. As they say, we never stop learning. We learn something every day. Don't say that I've learned it all, because there is always something to learn every day. And today he's going to talk about cancer. So stay in. It could be a friend, a family member that has probably, or a friend that you've had that has probably gone through a situation of that kind. So it's always good for you to be well equipped so that you can help in one way or the other. So without wasting time, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to allow me invite our trainer. He is a gold executive of this company. He is a mentor to so many lives that have happened to be part of his team, not only in his team, but in the Visionaries team and Alliance Motion Global as a company. And he has built lots of leaders in and out of his country. But away from that, today we are talking about health, and the good thing, he is a doctor by profession. Ladies and gentlemen, let's join together and welcome Dr. Robert Masaka Semwezi. You're very welcome, sir.
Hopefully you're doing well. And Madam Rina, thank you very much for giving me this wonderful opportunity to share with the Visionaries. We do not always take it for granted. So special thanks to our grand upline, to the members, you know better than if you are guests. Special thanks to the person behind this, that is Elias Mohoz, for always bringing us together to share something about knowledge and for free of charge. Those of you who are hearing me for the first time, the name is Robert Semwezi Masaka, and I'm only going to talk to 1, 2, 3, 4, only 4 people. You know my trainings. I only talk to you when I see you. I can see Mr. Ngobi James, you're welcome. Afande, Jamba Afande, you're welcome. Then Joseph, you're welcome. Elisha Patrick, you're also welcome. Where are the rest? Then the Incredibles. Not until I can at least see 10 of you, 20 of you, that is when I can start my training. Samuel, you're welcome. Daniel, you're welcome from Namibia. Wow. Daniel, you're welcome. You're an ambassador of us for us. You're an ambassador in Namibia. That is awesome. I always tell people that in such moments when we come together, we need to see each other. We must, if you're in Kampala, I need to see if you've not been a victim of what has happened there. You may come in here, yes, you're bleeding and you need special attention. Priska, you're welcome. Let's always make it a point to interact, you see each other and all that. Just know because of the pandemic, a lot is happening. Daniel Mwape, I love the name, Daniel Mwape. Maybe now I'm Mwape from Uganda. That is a nice name. I don't know. I need to see people chatting. I'm from Zimbabwe. I'm from Zambia. I'm from Namibia. Yes, Maggie. Maggie, you must be from Zimbabwe. A guava. People. Okay, anyway, I'll be starting my sharing for today. Once again, the name is Robert Semwes Masaka. Hey, Maggie is from also Namibia. Namibia is well represented. Then Muhammad, you're also welcome. You're all welcome to this special training, and we always want to give thanks to Madam Rina for always organizing such sessions for us every Tuesday. It is always a health session where we talk about health, especially in relation to our products. At times I don't want to speak a lot of medicine simply because when you're speaking a lot of medicine, people tend to think this business could be for medics, but that is not the case. Just imagine the top one is not even a medic, so anyone can make money here. So I try my level best to be as simple as I can so that each and everyone can understand. You pick a message from here and then pass it over to other people in form of helping them, but you also make an extra income. And for today's session, we are going to be talking about the myths about cancer. Cancer. At times, even people tend to think that cancer is a business. Truth be told, cancer is real and it's there. Hey, Elisha from Sierra Leone, you're welcome. Very soon I should be visiting Sierra Leone. So I was saying, cancer is a very serious condition. It does exist, but its management at times couldn't be too expensive as people tend to look at it. That is why I tell you prevention is more important than waiting to be diagnosed that the cancer cells now are beyond control, then you run for treatment. At times, people tend even to think cancer could be a business because it is quite expensive to manage cancer patients. So you will allow me share my screen. Allow me share my screen so that we get started, and then we will be answering questions very, very quickly. Services TV. For those of you who have not yet subscribed, it is on YouTube. You need to go and subscribe and always get updates. You even click the bell so that you can always get updates about these wonderful sessions that we always have, even more testimonies. It's called HBMS TV, Talking Health. I also happen to work with the CEO and founder of Home-Based Medical Services International, that is Health for All. Then we are in partnership with the Visionaries team, and all in all, we are a team of different categories to make sure that we learn from each other. So our focus for today, we are going to be discussing about cancers and tumors. Before we even go further, I felt it important to bring you to your notice that we have three major forms of treatment of cancer. Actually, they are supposed to be four, but the third one is the one that is not taken serious, and that is prevention or even reversal. To do with the lifestyle, to do with the diet and all that. What is more important, people know the form of treatment where we start at the moment one is diagnosed, they take you for chemotherapy. But I'm sure you've also seen victims who have had cancer, and simply because somebody is taking drugs day in, day out, you find them losing their hair, you find the kidneys are failing, you find the liver is failing, you find a lot of complications. It simply means that in one or the other, these drugs are also damaging the internal organs in one or the other. Yet it is a known form of management of cancer. Then the other one, after that chemotherapy, we have surgery. I want to bring it to your notice. It's a fact that we all have cancer cells. And what brings those cancer cells to grow is making our bodies acidic. There is a video on my YouTube channel, on our YouTube channel for the TV, that tells you what makes it 24/7 beat all other remedies. You'll watch it and then you'll know that each and every one of us is at risk. But when it comes to surgery, let me say if cancer gets on your finger and they happen to cut, let me say they operate. The moment they remove the finger, it is going to hit the hand. The moment they remove the hand, it is going to get to the internal organs because our bodies have cancer cells. That is another form. You end up losing the whole body part until when you get to the internal organs, when we can't remove. Just imagine if cancer got to your head, can we remove the head? Such points, it's also another form. Then the third form, which could be the last option, is what we call radiation. Radiation is like they are passing radiations through your body to burn. Just imagine if this is your breast. For the ladies, I don't mean to ridicule anyone. But the moment they put radiations through your breast, whatever point where these rays reach, cancer cells have to eat up to that point. If you're in Uganda, if you're in an African setting, be it Zimbabwe, be it in Namibia, be it in Southern Africa, you've had statements like so-and-so was taken to India for an operation for radiation, and when they came back, in 1 to 3 months, they have to go back or else they pack. We have a colleague who passed on because of cancer, but it was almost 3 months after he had come back from India. I remember I was advising these people that before you even think of radiations and all that, you focus on managing the cancer by diet, then supplements and all that. But they said, no, let's try our level best, take the client to India. They took this person to India, and 2-3 months coming back, he passed on. May his soul rest in peace. So entirely today, what I'm going to look at, what are the objectives of today's session? We want to know what is cancer. We are looking at cancer. We will see the definition. Then we will see its difference with tumors. People tend to confuse it with the tumors. However, there are also at the clinic. Sorry about that. But hopefully now I'm audible. I'm back. Madam Rena, am I still audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, you're back now.
Okay, thank you. Somebody was calling at the clinic and my internet was disturbed. And we will be looking at the prevention, but we also look at the testimonies. However, I had somebody who was supposed to talk to us. I don't know if at the end of this session we will have that person on. And what is cancer? This is a mass of tissues that is formed by abnormal cells. You have cells the moment they become abnormal, and more importantly, with uncontrolled growth, but occurs in every part of the body. Like it can happen in the blood, it can happen in the brain, it can happen in the liver, it can happen in the prostate, it can happen anywhere in the body. It's normally hard to remove from the body. That is cancer. They grow uncontrollably. But when we look at tumors, tumors, this is a mass of tissue that is formed by abnormal cells again, with uncontrolled growth, but only in solid tissues. Like it can be in bones, you can have it in muscles, and it can be removed from the body by surgery. Are we together? So that is the difference between the cancer and then the tumors. And in a pictorial form, when we look at both these two conditions, the differences between a tumor and a cancer, a tumor is something that you can even feel and touch. It grows, it sows in the body. But with cancer, it goes in the cells. It eats up the cells. The normal cells, they become abnormal and they're uncontrollable. That is the difference. For example, it can happen in breast cancer. We'll be looking at different types. And this is that big difference. There are very many differences, but this is what I felt like sharing with you, that with the tumors, they will show a swelling. And cancers may not show a swelling. Then, at times when it comes to tumors, may not, it's supposed to be may not be painful, but cancer is always painful. And then it occurs in solid organs, that is for the tumors, and with cancer, it occurs anywhere in the body. That is why it is very, very difficult to manage it. Then the other one can be removed from the body. Cancer cells do not die, and it is very hard to remove them from the body. And the other, it may or may not spread to the near organs. But the moment it comes to cancer, cancer can spread throughout the body. That is the difference. Cancer can spread throughout to the body. That is the major differences that you need to know. And when it comes to the types of cancers, yes, we have the lingual cancer, we have melanoma, we have lung cancer, stomach cancers, bone cancers, ovarian cancer, then talk about brain cancer, talk about breast cancer. There are very many. People even end up getting what we call skin cancers. Every organ that you would have in your body can get the cancer. Melanoma is a type of cancer of the skin. Then the oral cavity can be affected, the lungs can be affected. Talk about the stomach, talk about the colon, the small and big intestines, talk about the kidneys, talk about the prostate, talk about any body part, any body organ can get the cancers. When it comes to the ladies, they even end up getting the breast cancer. Talk about the pancreas, talk about colon, yes, that one is there, ovary, cervix, urinary bladder, endometrium, the uterus, anywhere, as long as it is part of you. That is why, in my thinking, this is out of record. I don't think that the major management of cancer would be surgery, or it won't be radiation, simply because for how long are we going to cut the body? For how long are we going to try? Because remember, we said it is very hard to be removed from the body. So those are the major types. And where is the problem? This is a problem statement, and they are trying to show us it is a study that was done to look at the distribution of cancer sites. This is Kentucky Cancer Association. They are trying to show us when you look at number one, these days there is a lot of cancer of the lungs, simply because this study was done in Kentucky. These people are good at smoking. They are good at smoking. You can look at the percentage is big. Then it is common in breast. Number two is breast, a large percentage that is in yellow. Then talk about the merogenital. Then talk about the colon rectal, the large intestines and the rectum. Then talk about the female genital, number 5. Then urinary, and then other digestive system. Then talk about the headache, lymphoma, skin, and others as it goes on. However, this distribution may differ depending on the lifestyles, depending on the country that you're talking about. This is a study that I wanted to bring out simply because it was done in Kentucky. And when you look at number 14 down there, it is the brain, and then the central nervous system, the spinal cord and all that. These studies, or clinical studies, could show some difference depending on the country. And when you come to Southern Africa, there are higher cases, because I know there are people who are on this chat room, who are on this Zoom call, who are following us, and you're from Southern Africa. These are people who go to an extent of even flying, almost drinking water. Sorry about that. Each and everything. I was in Zimbabwe, but each and everything we would take was flight. So you're going to find that the higher cases of cancer of the colon and the rectal, and then the skin cancers and all that, simply because the guy we keep feeding it things that are not right. So that is the problem statement. So entirely, let's look at what causes tumors and cancers in general. These are some of the things that we take for granted. Talk about like lack of physical activity. My dear, if you do not work out, you're putting yourself at risk of developing cancers. That is why you've seen people who have become too busy in the name of making a living, failing to make a life. You want to make a living, work home. You find somebody in the Western culture, especially when Africans leave and go to the Western culture, they make it about money. You find somebody having 3-4 jobs, work home. Your body entirely misses out on physical activity. You're putting yourself at risk of developing cancer. Then the other one is sexually transmitted diseases. For example, HBV infection. It is common in causing cervical cancers. If you're there and you routinely get infected with UTIs, you may have issues with the cancers. Then the other one is infection by hepatitis or other viruses. Viruses are very, very funny in making cancer cells grow in our bodies. Then the other one is unhealthy diet with low fruits and vegetable intake. Actually, I will put that even in red so that you get it very well. Unhealthy diet with the low fruit and vegetable intake. For those of you who want to know what these fruits and vegetables do in your body, just get to our YouTube channel. It is HBMS TV. Madam Rena will help us share the link and watch the video that I've uploaded recently where I'm talking about C24/7 being the best. You'll get this very well. The moment you have an unhealthy diet, simply because we find ourselves, we think because it is easy to get, it is easy to get chips, chaps, burgers, chicken, we think that is very okay. We are making cancer cells grow in our bodies. So you need to know that unhealthy diet with low fruit and vegetable intake is a problem. Then the other one is being overweight or obese. The moment you're overweight, suspect cancer cells also to have an opportunity to grow. And then obesity. Then tobacco use, both active and passive smokers. Then talk about ionizing and ultraviolet radiations. Then talk about urban air pollution, air conditions and all that. Then indoor smoke and broken down oxygen from AC. But indoor smoke, people who put charcoal stoves inside the house, That is why I want to encourage you to work so much with Alliance and Motion Global so that you can live for living in self-confused houses. The charcoal stove is here, you cook from here, you sleep in here. That burnt down oxygen in one or the other predisposes you to cancer. Are we together? So then the other one, if you're following, just type in the chat room that I'm following. I need to know if people are there. When you're sharing a screen, you may not be in position to see the people that you're talking to. And you may have a Zoom call and you're only talking to yourself. So if you're following, just type in the chat room that I'm following. Then the other one is foods with artificial sweeteners. And yes, I can see people following. Wow, the Incredibles. I understand you represent a team. Thank you for following. Now, the other one is foods with artificial sweeteners and food colors. They contain nitrate, which causes abnormal division of cells. Nitrate, anything. Elizabeth, thank you for following through. So all these are causes, but more importantly, the reasons that's why I put this in red. These are common causes of cancer that we take for granted. And this is according actually to the medicalnewstoday.com and Center for Disease Control and World Health Organization. They're telling us that cancer is the second leading cause of death in the world, second to heart diseases. Thank you. I'll attend to them later. Hopefully, I'm still audible.
Yes,
Thank
sir,
you.
very much.
Okay, so I was saying these are things that we take for granted. Ladies, family planning. That is why at times you find that you even start using family planning. But hopefully I'm still on.
Yes, sir, you're still on.
Thank you. So I was saying that when you look at show, I don't know why somebody. Sorry about that. Thank God that I'm not lost, I'm still on. So we are talking about eating posture. I'm sure you've had circumstances where people tell you that the regions that grind the posture and all that, they're over. So all these metals end up getting into the food that we eat. They're making our bodies acidic, and you find you're developing cancer cells in one or the other. Then the other one is using plastic, especially on hot things. It also puts that at risk. It increases the level of nitrate in the body and all that. Then the other one is using phones, radiations. In one or the other, they also affect us. Cancer cells are growing in the brain, then tumors at the end of the day, you become a victim. Ladies' earrings, I'm sure you've seen people who have abnormal cells growing on their ears simply because they're putting in earpins that are not approved and all that. Then talk about flight things, talk about sun radiation. The moment it is too much, that morning sunshine is very good, but the moment it becomes too much, a lot of forests have been cut down, the ozone layer is destroyed, that is why you have a lot of cancer. Then talk about air condition, then still wire for washing utensils and all that. But more importantly, allow me to talk about the prevention of both tumors and cancers. If you can, avoid using tobacco, avoid smoking. Then the other one, eat a healthy diet, always 24/7. That video that I put on YouTube, HBMS TV, why is it 24/7 is still the best will answer this very, very well for you, eating a healthy diet. You'll find that none of us can afford that healthy diet. So it will give you a proof very well. Then the other one, you need to maintain a healthy weight and be physically active. Then protect yourself from the sun, that too much sunshine. Then get regular medical checkups. Don't wait when you're on your deathbed for you to do the checkup. Then remove waste from the body. You all know about detoxification and cleansing. Then take a lot of fruits and vegetables. These fruits and vegetables are very, very vital in your body. Very, very vital. The grapes, the what. Next time we will be talking about the details of 747. Yes, but I have it here. I use it. When you look at its 29 vitamins and minerals in the body, they have a very important role that they play. These 29 vitamins, minerals, and trace minerals. Then when you talk about its 18 amino acids, are very vital. When you talk about the 14 super green foods and spirulina brains, if in Uganda, there's something they call the green algae, the blue-green algae, that thing that is on water, it's greenish in color. It always develops in water. It's a very, very good thing for you to use in the management of cancer. Smash it and always take and all that. Then they talk about the 12-fold vegetable juice blend. These vegetables and fruits and all what balance the body's pH and prevent cancer cells from growing. That is why when you look at how products being alkaline nature, that makes them super products in the management of cancer. The moment your body is alkaline, cancer cells cannot grow. Then the other one, the C24/7 has 12 different mushrooms. They act on the acidity of the body. Then 12 herbs and special nutrients. Then essential fatty acids, the 5 anti-aging and antioxidant enhancers, the 4 organic peripherals and all that, the mega reverse. So it is very, very vital that if you can't afford the other fruits and vegetables, the natural ones and all that, these products are going to do wonders. Then reduce the application of chemicals, especially on your body. So in brief, I want to talk about the 20 cancer-fighting foods. Garlic shouldn't miss. Talk about cabbages, broccoli, talk about curry, talk about asparagus, talk about tomatoes, talk about grapes, ginger, strawberries, blueberries, turmeric are very, very vital. Talk about the green tea, talk about the Swiss guard, talk about lentil, talk about the chili pepper. You see Indians have the best weight. Indians, they have the best weight, they're healthy. There's an Indian I know, I'm his medical doctor. I've not seen him in the last 2 years. Can you imagine? These are people who are good at taking chili pepper. Then flex seeds, talk about avocado, oranges, lemon, and then colic root. When you look at all these things, surprisingly, these are things that are put in C24/7, in Complete, in Restore Life. They're all blended and put there. Thanks God to Alliance in Motion Global. Thanks God to Nature's Way. Thanks God to the different organizations. Look at these things. An apple, people only use it in form of love. As a sign of love. My dear, an apple should be part of you day in, day out. It is very vital. There is this thing here, it is called the pomegranate. In Uganda, it's called Nkoma Mawanga. If you own hear it, you can know better. The acai berries. These are things that we always see. The grapes, we see them in supermarkets, and you want to go with the bread. You want to go with the blue band. You want to go with the nasty things. Yet these things are also there. If you go to a supermarket, you won't find people lining up to get these things. That is why no wonder we are having a lot of cancers. So the doctor's advice on tumors and cancers is this. You need to know that cancer kills. You need to know that cancer has no cure. Then the other cancer and tumors are difficult and expensive to manage, whether you want or you don't want. But that is the fact. It's not a myth. So you just need to understand that prevention is better than cure. Prevention is better than cure. And for you, what do you need to prevent? Very simple. Supplements to prevent, control, and reduce the rate at which cancer develops in your body. Remember, we said you all have cancer cells. I've talked about C24/7. I've talked about Restolife. I've talked about the living alkaline coffee. And how do you use them? If you want to prevent, you can do 1 times 2 C24/7. You can do a Restolife 1 times 1. You can do a coffee, especially sugar-free, 1 times 3 for prevention. Especially if you're on the 4th level, you need to go with the sugar. Coffee is here. Very vital. But if you're already diagnosed with cancer, you can do C24/7 1 times 1 first week, 1 times 2 second week, and 1 times 3 third week. Then Restolife 1 times 1 for 3 months. Then sugar-free 1 times 3. You make this coffee part of you. But remember the note that I want to give you as I come to the end. If you have any bleeding tendency in any form of cancer that you have, for example, cervical cancer, any bleeding tendencies, you have to use complete and then choleduz and then the coffee, which is sugar-free for any bleeding tendencies, simply because when you look at C24/7 and Restolife, they have blood thinners. So the moment you get anyone who has a bleeding tendency, use complete and choleduz and then the sugar-free, the coffee, for prevention or even for treatment. I want to thank you very much for following through. Yes, I've taken a lot of time, but I'm sure we've been gaining from whatever I've been sharing. I'll be using the remaining minutes to answer a few questions here and there. I expected to have my friend who is in the UK. I worked on her and she's now jubilating and celebrating simply because she's doing well. She had breast cancer, and she allowed me to use her testimonies everywhere. So for those of you who want to see this testimony, who want to use it to close deals, just get to HBMS TV and search for cancer testimony on HBMS TV talking out. You'll see this lady who is telling us gold about how she managed the cancer, about how she's doing well. So thank you very much for following through. And I want to say, may God bless you. Unless there are any questions, I want to end here and I can answer the questions. Thank you very much. So yes,